Moana 2B is a 2024 American animated musical adventure film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. The second film in the Moana franchise, it was directed by David Derrick Jr., Jason Hand, and Dana Ledoux Miller from a screenplay by Miller and executive producer Jared Bush. Auliʻi Cravalho and Dwayne Johnson reprised their roles from the first film. Set 3 years later, it follows Moana reuniting with the demigod Maui and assembling a wayfinding crew to find the lost island of Motukto, break its curse, and reconnect the people of the ocean. A follow-up to Moana was originally developed as a miniseries for Disney+, but by February 2024 it had been reworked into a theatrical sequel. Mark Mancina and Opetaia Foat, the composers and co-songwriters of the first film, returned to score and write the songs, while Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear provided additional songs. Moana 2 premiered at the Lanakahonua Cultural Institute in Kapolei, Hawaii, on November 21, 2024, and was released by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures in the United States on November 27. The film received mixed reviews from critics and grossed $1.059 billion worldwide, outgrossing its predecessor and becoming the third highest grossing film of 2024. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film at the 82nd Golden Globe Awards. Plot: 3 years after her adventure with the demigod Maui and the island goddess Te-Fiti, Moana spends her days exploring other islands near her home island of Motunui in the hope of finding people connected to the ocean. On her return from one such voyage, Moana is given the title of Tautai, or Master Wayfinder, Motunui's first Tautai in 1,000 years. In a vision, Moana's ancestor, Tautai Veza, reveals why none of those people are connected anymore. The malicious storm god Nalo wanted power over the mortals, so he sunk a legendary island called Motukto, which connected all of the islands, down to the depths of the ocean. Veza further warns that the people of Motunui will go extinct in the future if Moana cannot find a way to raise Motukto. In response to this call from the ancestors, Moana assembles a crew of people from Motunui, craftswoman Lodo, historian Mani, and grumpy elderly farmer Kale, alongside her pet pig and rooster, Pua, and Hiei, to follow the path of a comet across the ocean towards Motukto. Meanwhile, Maui is seeking Motukto himself since he had a previous quarrel with Nalo, but he is captured by Nalo's enforcer, Matangi. Maui is reluctant to contact Moana, as he fears she may not survive if she comes to help. Moana and her crew are captured by the Kakamora, a tribe of savage coconut-like pirates that Moana previously encountered, who reveal that Nalo's actions against Motukto had caused them to be disconnected from their home island. A Kakamora named Kota helps the crew paralyze a gargantuan monster clam inside of which is Matangi's lair. While the crew finds Maui, Moana meets Matangi and learns that she is not happy serving Nalo. Matangi helps Moana escape and reunite with Maui and her friends, before sending them to where Nalo is. Maui warns that Nalo's realm is deadlier compared to the mortal realm and that fighting him will spell certain death for mere mortals. Nalo's monsters ambush the group, damaging their raft and washing them ashore on an isolated island. Moana begins to despair, but Maui encourages her to keep on going. With Moana revitalized, the group plans to have Maui raise Motukto so that Moana can touch it, as that is the only way to stop Nalo. Her crew repairs her raft, but when the group ventures forth to confront Nalo, they encounter a gigantic storm. Moana, realizing that Nalo is trying to stop humans from breaking the curse, asks Maui to lift Motukto enough for her to touch it. Maui begins to pull up Motukto with his giant hook, but Nalo strips Maui of his demigod powers with a lightning bolt. Moana, in a moment of desperation, dives into the ocean to touch Motukto underwater, but as she succeeds, Nalo's lightning kills her. Maui jumps in after her body, and with a magical chant, summons the spirits of Tautai Veza and Moana's ancestors, including her grandmother Tala, who help revive her as a demi-goddess, with Moana gaining a Wayfinder's tattoo. Maui, also regaining his powers as a demigod, finally raises Motukto and helps Moana reconnect the people with the ocean. The crew returns home to Motunui, leading a flotilla of the peoples of the ocean, and a celebration is held in Moana's honor. In a mid-credits scene, Nalo plans his revenge and is about to punish Matangi for helping Moana, when the giant crab tomato arrives to join his cause. Voice cast: Auliʻi Cravalho as Moana 7/8, the curious daughter of village chief Tui and his wife Sina, who is chosen by the ocean to break the curse on the island of Motukto. Cravalho reprises her role in the film's Hawaiian language dubbing. 9. Dwayne Johnson as Maui 10/11, a strong-willed shape-shifting demigod who accompanies Moana on her journey. Hualalai Chung as Mani, a member of Moana's wayfinding crew and a fan of Maui's 12. Rose Matafio as Loto, a brainy but quirky craftswoman member of Moana's wayfinding crew 12. David Fain as Kale, a grumpy farmer and member of Moana's wayfinding crew 12. Awhimai Fraser as Matangi, Nalo's enforcer who controls bats. Fraser reprises her role in the film's Maori language dubbing. 13. Khaleesi Lambert Ciuta as Saimea, Moana's little sister 12. Timura Morrison as Tui, Moana's father and chief of Motunui Island. 12. Unlike the first film, where his singing voice was done by Christopher Jackson, Morrison does his own singing. Morrison reprises his role in the film's Maori language dubbing. 13. Nicole Schertzinger as Sina, Moana's mother and chiefess of Motunui 12. Rachel House as Tala, Tui's late mother and Moana's paternal grandmother, who returns as a manta ray spirit. House reprises her role in the film's Maori language dubbing. 13. Gerald Ramsey as Tatai Veza, Moana's ancestor. Alan Tudyk as Haihei 14, Moana's pet rooster. Additionally, some of Dwayne Johnson's family members have voice roles in the film, including daughters Jasmine and Tiana as members of Moana's fan club Moana Bees, and his mother Adamavia Johnson as a villager. 15. Tofaga Fipulia voices the storm god and main antagonist Nalo in the mid-credits scene, which also features the giant coconut crab tomato from the first film, with Jermaine Clement reprising his role. Production. Development. Icon. This section needs expansion. You can help by adding to it. December 2024. In December 2020, during a Disney Investor Day meeting, Walt Disney Animation Studios Chief Creative Officer Jennifer Lee announced that a long-form musical comedy series titled Moana, the series, based on the 2016 film of the same name, was in development at the studio and set for release on Disney Plus in 2023. 16-17. The series was to consist of 5 episodes. 18. By August 2021, it was reported that Osnat Shura would once again serve as producer. 19. In January 2022, it was announced that David Derrick Jr., storyboard artist for the first film, would serve as the writer and director. 2021-22. The series entered development simultaneously with the live-action remake of Moana, according to Jared Bush, a writer of the film and screenplay writer of the 2016 animated film. 23. Dana Ledoux Miller came onto the series in early 2023 as a consulting writer, having finished writing the live-action remake with Bush, and turned in several revisions for the series. 24. According to Bush, the director and the writers repeatedly received feedback during development to the effect of, "We love this story. Why is it not going on the biggest screen you can possibly imagine?" 18. In January 2024, Walt Disney Studios president Alan Bergman informed the team that they needed to shift rapidly from making a 5-episode streaming series to a second Moana feature film. 18. This last-minute story pivot was possible because nearly all the actual animation work for Disney animated films is not performed until the final year before the release date. Everything before that is development. 18. In February 2024, Disney CEO Bob Iger officially announced that the series had been reworked into a theatrical sequel titled Moana 2, with Derek and Shura remaining attached to the project. 25. Iger explained that this occurred after Disney executives saw early footage. "We were impressed with what we saw and knew it deserved a theatrical release." 26 By the release of the first trailer in May, Jason Hand and Dana Ledoux Miller were confirmed as co-directors alongside Derek, while Christina Chen and Yvette Marino were revealed to replace Schurrer as the film's producers. 1. Casting. Shortly after the announcement that the series was being repurposed into a theatrical feature film, Auliʻi Cravalho and Dwayne Johnson were confirmed to reprise their respective roles as Moana and Maui. 7, 8, 10, 11 Johnson later confirmed that he had been involved with the project since its conception, including its development, stating, "I can't wait for fans to see the film, the technology, the effects, cutting edge. We all really went for it. We thought if we're gonna make a sequel to something so beloved, let's really go for it." 10. Several more cast members were unveiled at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, including Temuera Morrison and Nicole Scherzinger reprising their roles as Moana's parents from the first film. New additions include Khaleesi Lambert-Ciuta as Moana's new sister, and Rose Matafio, David Fain, and Hualalai Chung as members of Moana's wayfinding crew. 12. According to Cravalho, this film was the first time that a Disney princess has been allowed to age. 27. When Cravalho returned to the recording studio after the first film to record lines for Disney fireworks shows, Disney on Ice, and Disney Lego Princess, she was repeatedly asked to raise her vocal pitch to sound like herself as a teenager at age 16. 27 She was delighted when the film's directors allowed her to record Moana's lines at age 19 with her natural voice as a woman in her early 20s. 27. Animation. Animation was handled at Walt Disney Animation Studios' Vancouver studio when it was being developed as a series, while pre-production and storyboarding took place at the Burbank studio. 19 It is the first feature film to be made at the Vancouver studio. 1928 At the Annecy International Animation Film Festival, it was revealed that veterans Mark Henn and Eric Goldberg would supervise a team of apprentices of hand-drawn animators for Maui's tattoos. Goldberg was a supervising animator for Mini Maui for the first film. 12. Disney Animation's decision to largely outsource the animation work for Moana 2 to its new Vancouver studio was highly controversial. In May 2025, the Animation Guild published a report estimating that as a result, California had lost as much as 817 jobs, $87 million in wages, and $178 million in state gross domestic product. 29. Music. Main article, Moana 2, soundtrack. Mark Mancina and Opetaiofoa returned to compose the film's score, while Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear contributed songs, replacing Lin-Manuel Miranda from the first film. 31 Barlow and Bear are the youngest and the first all-female songwriter duo to write the songs for a Disney film. 32 Walt Disney Music president Tom McDougall recruited Barlow and Bear in the fall of 2021, after hearing the quality of their work on the unofficial Bridgerton musical, and about a year later, in 2022, they began to work with the production team on writing songs. 32 Miranda assisted by providing Barlow with a stack of books on how to write lyrics for musical films. 32 Bear focused on studying the existing Moana score, with its Polynesian instrumentation, and learning how to write songs with that musical vocabulary. 32 Cravalho stated that having Barlow and Bear, two young women, help voice Moana's story, which is a young woman finding her way, I couldn't think of a better duo than Barlow and Bear. This is a new part of my voice. This film digs into these low notes in these times of indecision when we don't know what we are supposed to do next. There's a lot of deeper layers to these songs. 30. Miranda later explained that the reason he was not asked to return for the sequel came down to a matter of timing. 33 He was a longtime fan of The Lion King, 1994, and desperately wanted to work on Mufasa, The Lion King, 2024, but director Barry Jenkins had to first wait 6 months for him. 34 Miranda was simply too busy in the second half of 2021 with finishing the songs for Encanto, 2021, finishing up the editing of his first feature film as a director, and having to do press interviews to promote Encanto and 2 other films. 34 By the time Miranda was done with Encanto interviews, he had to get started on Mufasa right away in early 2022. 33 Meanwhile, Disney Animation moved forward with Barlow and Bear, and they were already cooking by the time the decision was made to turn the streaming series into a feature-length sequel. 33. On November 7, 2024, Disney revealed a full track list, along with the first single Beyond by Cravalho, which was billed as a spiritual sequel to the original Moana anthem, How Far I'll Go. 35 On November 11, Johnson revealed his song Can I Get a Chihu? As a female empowerment song for Moana's character, which follows the tune of Maui's original You're Welcome. 36 The original motion picture soundtrack was released on November 22. 35 Beyond and Can I Get a Chihu? Were nominated for the 2024 Hollywood Music in Media Award for Best Original Song in an Animated Film. 37 and Beyond has been nominated for a 2025 Society of Composers and Lyricists Award for Outstanding Original Song for a Comedy or Musical Visual Media Production. 38. Release. Dana Ledoux Miller, co-director and co-screenwriter. Auliʻi Cravalho, the voice of Moana. Miller and Cravalho discussed their work on the film at D23 2024 in Anaheim, California. Moana 2 had its world premiere at the Lanakahonua Cultural Institute in Kapolei, Hawaii on November 21, 2024. 39, and was released in theaters in the United States on November 27, 2024. 2540. Marketing. The first trailer for the film was released on May 29, 2024, after debuting at Cinemakin the month before. 141 The trailer earned over 178 million views in its first 24 hours across all platforms, breaking a new record as the most watched trailer of all time for a Disney animated film, a record previously held by Frozen 2 and Pixar's Inside Out 2, the latter of which the trailer was attached to in the theaters. 42 A sneak peek of the film was screened at the 2024 Annecy International Animation Film Festival on June 14, 2024. 43. On August 9, 2024, Cravalho and Johnson appeared at the Disney Entertainment Showcase at the 2024 D23 Expo in Anaheim, California to promote the film and release a new trailer, which was released online shortly thereafter. 44 During the D23 presentation, Cravalho performed a new song from the film, We're Back, accompanied by Polynesian dancers. 44 Johnson also used the presentation to announce a new live-action Monster Jam film that he would be producing with Disney. 45. Localization. Like the first film, Moana 2 was released in European countries 46, 47, 48 with the title and protagonist's name changed to Vaiana due to a trademark conflict. 49. 4 special dubbings in Polynesian languages were released for the sequel, in Hawaiian 9 Maori 50 Tahitian, and Samoan. 51 The first 3 languages had previously received a dubbing of the first film 52, 53, 54 while a Samoan dubbing of the sequel was released without the original film having been dubbed. Cravalho reprised the lead role in the Hawaiian dubbing of the sequel 9 like she did in the first film 54 while several other members of the cast reprised their roles in the Maori dubbing. 55. Of the 6 films dubbed into Maori so far 56-57 Moana 2 is the first to have premiered in New Zealand simultaneously in English and Maori. 58 This marks the third time in Disney's history a dubbing in an indigenous language is released at the same time as regular dubbings. The first such instance happened with the Tahitian dubbing of Moana, released in 2016 in French Polynesia. 52 The second was the Sami dubbing of Frozen 2, released in 2019 in Finland, Norway, and Sweden. 5960. Home media. Moana 2 was released as a digital download on January 28, 2025, began streaming on Disney Plus on March 12, 2025, and was released on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD on March 18, 2025. 61, 62, 63. The film topped both the iTunes and Fandango at Home charts for the week ending February 2nd. 64. It maintained its position at number 1 on both charts in its second week and continued its success as the most popular title on Fandango at Home for the week ending February 16th, marking its third consecutive week at the top. 65-66 Moana 2 debuted at number 1 on the UK's official film chart based on digital downloads. 67 The movie remained number 1 on the official film chart for a second consecutive week, selling over 33,000 copies. 68-69 On Disney+, Moana 2 garnered 27.3 million views in its first 5 days, making it the third highest launch ever for a theatrical film on the platform and the best launch for a Walt Disney Animation Studios title since Encanto in December 2021. 70-71 Nielsen Media Research, which records streaming viewership on some U.S. television screens, estimated that Moana 2 garnered 1.9 billion minutes of watch time between March 10th to 16th, making it the most streamed film that week. 72-73 Nielsen later reported that the film was the sixth most streamed title overall in March 2025, with 3.9 billion minutes viewed. 74-75 Between January and June 2025, Moana 2 accumulated a total of 7.227 billion minutes streamed, ranking as the most streamed film in that period. 76-77 Reception. Box office. Moana 2 grossed $460.4 million in the United States and Canada, and $598.8 million in other territories, for a total of $1.059 billion worldwide. 5/6 Deadline Hollywood calculated the film's net profit as $415 million, accounting for production budgets, marketing, talent participations, and other costs, box office grosses, television and streaming, and home media revenues, making Moana 2 the second most profitable film of 2024. 78. In the United States and Canada, Moana 2 was originally projected to gross $105 to $115 million over the 5-day Thanksgiving weekend. 79 After making $57.8 million on its first day, including $13.8 million from Tuesday night previews, both the highest ever for a Walt Disney Animation film and Thanksgiving week release, 5-day estimates were raised to $175 to $200 million. 80 It then made a record $28 million on Thanksgiving, nearly doubling the 2019 film Frozen 2's previous high of $14.9 million. 81 It went on to debut to $139.8 million, and a total of $225 million over the 5 days, breaking Frozen 2's $130.3 million record for the best opening weekend for a Walt Disney Animation film and a Thanksgiving weekend release, as well as nearly matching the entire domestic run of the first film, $248.7 million. 82 The worldwide 5-day gross of $389 million surpassed the 2023 film The Super Mario Bros. Movie as the highest such opening for an animated film. 83 In its second weekend the film made $52 million, a drop of 62.8%, remaining in first. 84-85 In its third weekend, the film retained the top spot again, grossing $26.6 million, dropping 48% from its second weekend. 86 The film was finally dethroned in its fourth weekend, grossing $13.1 million, and finishing in fourth place. 87-88 On January 19, 2025, the film crossed the $1 billion threshold, becoming the third film released in 2024 to do so. 89. Critical response. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 60% of 245 critics' reviews are positive. The website's consensus reads, riding high on a wave of stunning animation even when its story runs adrift, Moana 2 isn't as inspired as the original but still delights as a colorful adventure. 90. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 58 out of 100, based on 50 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 91 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A, on an A+ to F scale, down from the first say, while those surveyed by PostTrack gave it an 89% overall positive score, with 64% saying they would definitely recommend it. 82. Writing for Cinema Blend, Dirk Libby praised Moana 2 as a really good movie, but also noted that it was too obvious that the film had been originally written as a much longer television series and then trimmed down for release as a feature film. 92. Libby pointed out that the film introduces viewers to several interesting characters like Matangi, Loto, Kale, and Mani, but fails to explore their backstories, the kind of subplots that would be exactly where I would start to cut if asked to condense several television scripts into a film script. 92. Radhi and Simon Pillai, Globe and Mail, found the music flat and uninspired. Alison Wilmore, Vulture, argued the film suffers from a lack of tension, part of Disney's recent trend away from colorful villains in favor of softer, internal conflicts. Owen Gleiberman, Variety, called it an okay movie and deficient enough to be a holiday hit, though far more product-like than its predecessor. Chloe Auliʻi Cravalho, /Auliʻi Cravalho /23 born November 22, 2004, is an American actress. She made her acting debut as the voice of the title character in the Disney animated musical film Moana, 2016, and reprised her role in the 2024 sequel. 5. Cravalho has had leading roles in the drama series Rise, 2018, the drama film All Together Now, 2020, the supernatural comedy Darby and the Dead, 2022, the sci-fi series The Power, 2023, and the 2024 film adaptation of Mean Girls, the musical. She has also acted in several theatrical productions, including Evita, 2023, in London and Cabaret, 2024, on Broadway. Early life and education. Cravalho was born in Kohala, Hawaii and is of Chinese, native Hawaiian, Puerto Rican, Portuguese, and Irish descent. 6-7 Her parents Dwayne and Puanani ran a construction company and divorced when she was young. 8 At the time she made her breakthrough, she was living in Mililani, Hawaii, with her mother and was in her first year of high school, singing soprano in the Glee Club 910 at Kamehameha School's Kapalama campus. 11 She grew up with her mother in a one-bedroom apartment, and they had to rely on the federal food stamps program for support. 8 Following the success of Moana, she bought a house for her mother. 8. Cravalho in 2017. In June 2021, Cravalho announced that she had been accepted into Columbia University and subsequently revealed that she planned to major in environmental science. 12-13 However, she repeatedly deferred her entrance to Columbia in order to focus on acting to the point where she would have to reapply for admission to study there. 14. Career. As a 14-year-old high school freshman, Cravalho was cast as the title character in the 2016 animated movie Moana. 15-16 She has stated that she was initially not going to audition for the role because there were already so many great submissions that she didn't think she needed to try out. 17 However, a talent agent in Oahu discovered her through a charity video contest and brought her to Los Angeles to audition for the role. 7-18 Casting director Rachel Sutton has stated that Cravalho was the last person to audition out of hundreds of actresses. 7-19 In February 2017, it was announced that she had been cast in the pilot for the NBC drama Rise, which was ordered to series on May 4, 2017. 2021 The series premiered on March 13, 2018, but NBC cancelled the series on May 15, 2018, due to low ratings. 22 In May 2017, she sang the national anthem at the National Memorial Day concert. Citation needed In November 2017, Cravalho announced she was going to reprise her role as Moana in the first Hawaiian-language, dubbed Disney film. 23-24 The dubbed Moana premiered on June 10, 2018. 25. On November 5, 2019, Cravalho portrayed Ariel in ABC's The Little Mermaid Live, a live-action concert rendition of The Little Mermaid. 26-27 In 2020, she starred in All Together Now, directed by Brett Haley for Netflix. 28 Cravalho has twice performed as guest narrator at Disney's Candlelight Processional at Walt Disney World, in 2018 and 2021. 29. In 2020, Cravalho participated in Acting for a Cause, a live classic play and screenplay reading series created, directed, and produced by Brando Crawford. 30 Cravalho played Gwendolyn Fairfax in The Importance of Being Earnest. 31 Lairds in Hamlet, Lady Catherine in Pride and Prejudice, and Jeannie Bueller in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The reading raised funds for non-profit charities including Mount Sinai Medical Center. 30. On November 18, 2021, it was announced that Cravalho would voice the title character, Haley, in the animated comedy adventure series Haley's on It, which premiered on June 8, 2023, on Disney Channel. 32 She also has a role in the sci-fi drama series The Power, where she plays Joss Cleary Lopez, a teenager who develops electric powers, and as Janice Ike in Mean Girls, a 2024 film adaptation of the stage musical Mean Girls. Citation needed. In 2023, it was announced that Cravalho would be an executive producer on the upcoming live-action adaptation of Moana but would not reprise the titular role. She stated in 2024 that it feels really important to me to pass the baton to the next young woman of Pacific Island descent. 33. In July 2024, it was announced that Cravalho will take over the role of Sally Bowles in the Broadway production of Cabaret beginning September 16. 34. Personal life. In April 2020, Cravalho came out as bisexual. 35 In January 2024, Cravalho revealed that she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Dwayne Douglas Johnson, born May 2, 1972, also known by his ring name The Rock, is an American actor and professional wrestler. He is signed to WWE, where he performs on a part-time basis. Widely regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, 6'7" Johnson was integral to the development and success of the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, during the Attitude Era. He wrestled for the WWF full-time for 8 years before pursuing an acting career. His films have grossed over $14.9 billion worldwide, making him one of the world's highest-grossing and highest-paid actors. 9, 10, 11 He is a co-owner of the United Football League. 12, 13, 14 A member of the board of directors of TKO Group Holdings, the parent company of UFC and WWE. 15, 16, 17 and co-founder of 7 Bucks Productions. 18. After accepting an athletic scholarship to play football at the University of Miami, Johnson was a member of the 1991 national championship team but was largely a backup player. 19 Despite aspirations to professional football, he went undrafted in the 1995 NFL Draft, and briefly signed with the Calgary Stampeders before being cut in his first season. 20 In 1996, his father assisted in helping him secure a contract with the WWF. 1 Johnson quickly rose to global prominence, aided by a gimmick he employed as a charismatic trash talker. Johnson left the WWE in 2004, he returned in 2011 as a part-time performer until 2013 and made sporadic appearances from there on until his retirement in 2019-21. In 2023, he returned once again on a part-time basis. A 10-time world champion including the promotion's first of African American descent. 22 He is also a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, a 5-time Tag Team Champion, the 2000 Royal Rumble winner, and WWE's 6th Triple Crown Champion. Johnson headlined multiple pay-per-view events, including WWE's flagship event WrestleMania 6 times, 15, 16, 17, 28, 29, and 40, Night 1, which includes the most bought professional wrestling pay-per-view, WrestleMania 28, and main event the most watched episodes of WWE's flagship television series, Raw and SmackDown. 23-24. Johnson's first film role was in The Mummy Returns, 2001. The next year, he played his first leading role in the action fantasy film The Scorpion King. He has since starred in family films The Game Plan, 2007, Race to Witch Mountain, 2009, Tooth Fairy, 2010, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, 2017, Jumanji, The Next Level, 2019, and Jungle Cruise, 2021, and the action films Journey to The Mysterious Island, 2012, G.I. Joe, Retaliation, 2013, Hercules, 2014, Skyscraper, 2018, San Andreas, 2015, and Rampage, 2018. He also starred in the action comedy films Get Smart, 2008, Central Intelligence, 2016, Baywatch, 2017, and Red Notice, 2021. His role as Luke Hobbs in the Fast and Furious films, beginning with Fast 5, 2011, helped the franchise become one of the highest grossing in film. 25. He joined the DC Extended Universe by playing the title role in Black Adam, 2022. 26. He has also voiced Maui in the Disney animated film Moana, 2016, and its sequel Moana 2, 2024, and will reprise the role in the 2026 live-action remake. Johnson produced and starred in the HBO comedy drama series Ballers, 2015 to 2019, 27, and the autobiographical sitcom Young Rock, 2021 to 2023. His autobiography, The Rock Says, was released in 2000 and was a New York Times bestseller. 28-29. In 2016 and 2019, Time named him as one of the world's most influential people. 30-31. Early life and education. As a senior at Freedom High School in Bethlehem Township, Pennsylvania, Johnson was a member of the school's football, track and field, and wrestling teams when, he says, his thought process started to change. That's when I started thinking about goals and what I wanted to accomplish. Johnson was born in Hayward, California 32-33 on May 2, 1972-34, the son of Matanyafigai Maliata Adafida Semanu, née Mavia, 35-36, and former professional wrestler Rocky Johnson, born Wade Douglas Bowles. 37-38. Growing up, he briefly lived in Grey Lynn in Auckland, New Zealand, with his mother's family. 39, where he played rugby. 40, and attended Richmond Road Primary School before returning to the U.S. 39. Dwayne's father, Rocky Johnson. Johnson's father was a black Nova Scotian with a small amount of Irish ancestry. 41, 42, 43, and his mother is Samoan. 44, 45, 46. His father and Tony Atlas were the first black tag team champions in WWE history, in 1983. 47, 48. Johnson's uncle Ricky was also a wrestler. 49. His mother is the adopted daughter of Peter Mavia, who was also a professional wrestler. 50. Johnson's maternal grandmother Leah was one of the first female pro wrestling promoters, taking over Polynesian Pacific Pro Wrestling after her husband's death in 1982 and managing it until 1988. 51, 52. Through his maternal grandfather Mavia, Johnson is a non-blood relative of the Anoa'i wrestling family. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. In 2008, he inducted his father and grandfather into the WWE Hall of Fame. 58. Johnson attended Montclair Elementary School in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then moved to Hamden, Connecticut, where he attended Shepherd Glen Elementary School and then Hamden Middle School. 59, 60. He attended President William McKinley High School in Honolulu and then Glencliff High School and McGavock High School, both in Nashville, Tennessee, and then Freedom High School in Bethlehem Township, Pennsylvania, in the Lehigh Valley region of the state, where he graduated in 1990. 61. At Freedom High School, Johnson initially struggled and was drawn into a culture of conflict and petty crime. By age 17, he had been arrested several times for fighting, theft, and check fraud, and was suspended 2 weeks for fighting. 62 An article in the local newspaper labeled him a troubled teenager with a history of run-ins with police. But Freedom High School football coach Jody Quick saw athletic potential in Johnson, and recruited him to join the school's football team, where he played defensive tackle, an experience that proved to be a significant personal transformation for Johnson. My thought process started to change. That's when I started thinking about goals and what I wanted to accomplish, he has since said about his high school football experience. 19 In addition to playing football, Johnson also was a member of Freedom High School's track and field and wrestling teams. 37. By his senior year at Freedom High School, Johnson had played only 2 years of football, but was offered a full athletic scholarship offer from the University of Miami, whose football program was beginning to emerge as one of the nation's top-level NCAA Division I teams. 19. Football career. College career. Dwayne Johnson. Number 94. Position defensive tackle. Major criminology and physiology. Personal information. Height 6 feet 5 in, 1.96 m. Weight 253 pounds 115 kilograms. Career history. College. Miami, FL, 1990 to 1994. High school Freedom High School. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Career highlights and awards. National champion, 1991. As he did in high school, Johnson continued to play defensive tackle at the University of Miami, where he was a member of the Miami Hurricanes 1991 team, which won that year's national championship. 63-37 Despite playing 4 years there, however, Johnson found himself behind elite players on the depth chart, including future NFL star and Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee Warren Sapp, and appeared mostly in backup roles. 64-65 In his time at Miami, Johnson played in 39 games with 1 start. He recorded 4.5 sacks and 77 tackles. 65. In 1995, Johnson graduated with a Bachelor of General Studies and a dual major in criminology and physiology. 366 He was also one of the university's most prolific student speakers in the Miami area community, frequently delivering positive messages about his own struggles and encouraging students to remain in school and avoid the dangers of drug use. 67. Canadian Football League. After graduating, Johnson was signed by the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League. Calgary moved him from defensive tackle to linebacker. He was assigned to Calgary's practice roster, but was cut 2 months into Calgary's 1995 season. 37-68-69. Professional wrestling career. Early career, 1996. Part of a series on professional wrestling. History. Notable promotions. Notable men. Notable women. Notable tag teams and stables. By region. Styles. Concepts. Culture. Media outlets. Controversies. Lists. Related topics. Vive. After being cut by Calgary, Johnson began his professional wrestling career the next year, in 1996. 37 Veteran wrestler Pat Patterson secured several tryout matches for Johnson with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, in 1996. Wrestling at first under his real name, Johnson defeated the Brooklyn Brawler at a house show on March 10, 1970 and lost matches to Chris Candido and Owen Hart. 39 After wrestling at Jerry Lawler's United States Wrestling Association under the name Flex Kavanaugh and winning the USWA Tag Team Championship twice with his partner Bart Sawyer in the summer of 1996, Johnson was signed to a WWF contract. He received additional training from Tom Pritchard, alongside H.M. Albrecht and Mark Henry. 539. World Wrestling Federation / World Wrestling Entertainment. Intercontinental Champion, 1996 to 1997. Johnson made his WWF debut as Rocky Maivia, a combination of his father and grandfather's ring names, although announcers acknowledged his real name. 71. He was initially reluctant to take this ring name but was persuaded by Vince McMahon and Jim Ross. 52-72. He was given the nickname the Blue Chipper, and to play up his lineage, he was hyped as the WWF's first third-generation wrestler. To a clean-cut face character, Maivia was pushed heavily from the start despite his wrestling inexperience. He debuted on Monday Night Raw as a member of Mark Marrow's entourage on November 4, 1996. 73. His first match came at Survivor Series on November 17. In an 8-man elimination tag match, he was the sole survivor and eliminated the final two members of the opposing team, Crush and Goldust. 74. On February 13, 1997, he won the Intercontinental Championship from Hunter Hearst Helmsley on a Thursday edition of Monday Night Raw. 75, 76, 77. Maivia then successfully defended the title against Helmsley at In Your House 13, Final 4 on February 16. Johnson's first WrestleMania match came at WrestleMania 13 on March 23, where he was victorious in his Intercontinental Championship defense against the Sultan. WWF fans started to reject his character and push from the company. 78. He defeated Bret Hart by disqualification in a title defense on the March 31 episode of Raw is War. 79. Behind the scenes, Hart mentored Johnson for his first year in WWF 80 and refused to be booked to take the title from him. 81. On April 20, at In Your House 14, Revenge of the Taker, he lost to Savio Vega by countout but retained the title. Audiences became increasingly hostile toward Maivia, with chants of "Die, Rocky, Die" and "Rocky sucks" being heard during his matches. 152. After losing the Intercontinental Championship to Owen Hart on the April 28 episode of Raw is War 82, Maivia suffered a legitimate knee injury in a match against Mankind in June and spent several months recovering. 1. Nation of Domination, 1997 to 1998. See also, Nation of Domination. Upon returning in August, Maivia turned heel by lashing out at fans who had been booing him and joining Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Kama in the stable called the Nation of Domination. 83. He then refused to acknowledge the Rocky Maivia name, instead referring to himself in the third person as The Rock, though he would still be billed as The Rock Rocky Maivia until 1998. The Rock would then regularly insult the audience, WWF performers, and interviewers in his promos. 83. At D-Generation X, In Your House on December 7, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Rock in under 6 minutes to retain the Intercontinental Championship. 84. The next night on Raw is War, Austin was ordered by Mr. McMahon to defend the title in a rematch, but forfeited it to The Rock instead, handing him the title belt before hitting him with the Stone Cold Stunner. 85-86. The Rock feuded with Austin and Ken Shamrock through the end of 1997 and beginning of 1998. 87-88. On January 19, 1998, at the Royal Rumble, The Rock defeated Shamrock by disqualification to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Later that night, he entered the Royal Rumble match and lasted until the final two before he was eliminated by Stone Cold Steve Austin. On March 29, at WrestleMania 14, he defeated Shamrock by disqualification once again to retain the title. The next night, on Raw is War, The Rock debuted a new Intercontinental Championship design and would later overthrow Farouk as leader of the Nation of Domination to spark a feud between the two. He then successfully defended the Intercontinental Championship against Farouk at Over the Edge, In Your House on May 31. The stable would then refer to themselves as simply The Nation. 89. The Rock and The Nation then feuded with Triple H and D-Generation X, DX, with the two stable leaders first meeting in the quarter-final of the 1998 King of the Ring tournament, which The Rock won. At King of the Ring on June 28, The Rock defeated Dan Severn in the semi-final match and lost to rival Ken Shamrock in the final. The Rock then resumed his feud with Triple H, as the two had a 2 out of 3 falls match at Fully Loaded, in Your House on July 26 for the Intercontinental Championship, which The Rock retained in controversial fashion. 90 This led to a ladder match at SummerSlam on August 30th, where The Rock lost the title to Triple H. 91. In the latter half of 1998, The Rock saw a big uptick in fan support. He also started consolidating his famous persona during this time, which would last until 2000. 92 His popularity caused him to be booked in a feud with fellow Nation members Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown, turning babyface in the process. Henry defeated The Rock at Judgment Day, in Your House on October 18 after interference from Brown, effectively breaking up the stable. 93-94. WWF Champion and Rise to Superstardom, 1998-2000. See also, The Corporation and Rock and Sock Connection. As part of the Corporation, The Rock feuded with Stone Cold Steve Austin and stole Austin's personalized WWF Championship and his Smoking Skull belt. The Rock was then entered into the Deadly Game tournament for the vacant WWF Championship. The finals occurred at Survivor Series on November 15, where The Rock defeated Vince McMahon's associate, Mankind, to win his first WWF Championship. 95-96 A double turn then occurred as The Rock turned heel again after allying with Vince and Shane McMahon as the crown jewel of their stable, the Corporation, after the McMahons betrayed Mankind. 95-97 On December 13, at the pay-per-view named after him, Rock Bottom, in Your House, The Rock had a rematch with Mankind for the WWF Championship. Mankind appeared to win the match when The Rock passed out to the mandible claw submission move, but Vince McMahon ruled that since The Rock did not tap out, he retained his title. 97-98. In the main event of the January 4, 1999, episode of Raw is War, Mankind defeated The Rock for the championship after interference from Stone Cold Steve Austin. 99 Then at the Royal Rumble on January 24, The Rock regained the title in an I Quit match, a type of submission match that only ends if one of the combatants says I quit on a microphone. Intended to show a vicious streak in The Rock's character, The Rock hit Mankind in the head with a steel chair 11 times instead of the scripted 5 shots already being risky. Most wrestling matches in the Attitude Era involving steel chairs had at most 2 or 3 shots to the head. After the 5th shot, Mankind was still ringside instead of 2/3 up the entrance ramp where he was supposed to be, and after the 11th shot, which knocked Mankind out, a recording of Mankind saying I quit from an earlier interview was played over the public address system. 101 On January 31, during an episode of Sunday Night Heat, The Rock and Mankind participated in an empty arena match, a match that took place in an arena with 22,000 empty seats where any part of the facility could be used to contest the match. After 20 minutes of chaotic brawling in the ring, the stands, a kitchen, the catering area, an office, the arena corridors and finally a basement loading area, Mankind pinned The Rock using a forklift truck to win the WWF Championship. 102 The two faced off again, at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, in Your House on February 14, in a last man standing match which ended in a draw, meaning Mankind retained the title. Their feud ended on the February 15 Raw is War, when The Rock won his 3rd WWF Championship in a ladder match after a debuting Big Show interfered on his behalf. 103-104 The Rock then lost the WWF Championship to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 15 on March 28. 105. The Rock's popularity was fueled by his charisma and speaking abilities, which led to many catchphrases and merchandising opportunities. The Rock's popularity continued to grow and audiences still cheered for him even though he was a heel. He then lost the title rematch against Stone Cold Steve Austin at Backlash, in Your House on April 25. 106 The next night on Raw is War, The Rock was fired from the corporation after he was betrayed by Shane McMahon. turning him face again and starting a feud with Triple H, The Undertaker, and the corporate ministry. On April 29, 1999, WWF aired the pilot episode of SmackDown, a term derived from one of The Rock's catchphrases. In the episode, The Rock continued his feud with the corporate ministry. This led to a match with Triple H, at Over the Edge on May 23, which The Rock won 107, and a match for the WWF Championship against The Undertaker, at King of the Ring on June 27, which The Rock lost. 108. The Rock then lost a number 1 contenders match to Triple H, at Fully Loaded on July 25, after interference from Mr. Ass Billy Gunn. 109. The Rock then defeated Gunn in a Kiss My Ass match at SummerSlam on August 22. The Rock was also given the privilege of having his own signature match, like The Undertaker with the Buried Alive match, Kane with the Inferno match, and Mankind with the Boiler Room Brawl. The Brahma Bull Rope match, a variant of a strap match, was a normal singles match where the components are tied together with a rope used for cattle farming, and the rope and its attached cowbell could both be used as weapons. The Rock contested this match twice, both times in Texas, vs Triple H in Dallas, and vs Al Snow in Houston. 110. Shortly after SummerSlam, The Rock began teaming with former opponent Mankind, and the two became known as the Rock and Sock Connection. 111. They became WWF Tag Team Champions for the first time after defeating The Undertaker and Big Show for the titles on the August 30 episode of Raw is War. 112. 113. The two performed a number of critically acclaimed comedic skits together, including one called This Is Your Life, which saw Mankind bring parody versions of people from The Rock's past on television, such as his high school girlfriend and his high school football coach, only to have The Rock insult them. The segment earned an 8.4 Nielsen rating, one of the highest ratings ever for a Raw segment. 114. The two lost the titles back to Undertaker and Big Show on the September 9 episode of SmackDown, and won them back from them on the September 20 episode of Raw is War. 115. 116. The Rock and Mankind then lost the titles to the New Age Outlaws on the very next episode of SmackDown. 117. The Rock and Mankind would win the tag titles for the third and final time after beating the New Age Outlaws on the October 14 episode of SmackDown, before losing the titles to the Holly Cousins on the October 18 episode of Raw is War. 118. 119. At the Royal Rumble on January 23, 2000, The Rock entered the Royal Rumble match and was one of the final two remaining, along with Big Show. In an attempt at a false finish, Big Show intended to throw The Rock over the top rope in a running powerslam-like position, before The Rock countered the move on the ring apron, sending Big Show to the floor before re-entering the ring as the winner. 120. But The Rock's feet accidentally hit the floor during the reversal attempt, though those watching the event on television did not see that. This was played up in the storyline as Big Show provided additional video footage showing it and claimed to be the rightful winner. The Rock's number 1 contendership for the WWF Championship was then put on the line against Big Show at No Way Out on February 27, which Big Show won after Shane McMahon interfered. 121. The Rock then defeated Big Show on the March 13 episode of Raw is War, to regain the right to face the WWF Champion, Triple H, at WrestleMania 2000 on April 2, in a fatal 4-way elimination match, also including Big Show and Mick Foley. 122. 123. Each wrestler had a McMahon in his corner. Triple H had his wife, Stephanie, Foley had Linda, The Rock had Vince, and Big Show had Shane. 123. 124. The Rock lasted until the final two but was eliminated by Triple H after Vince betrayed him by hitting him with a chair. 124. 125. Due to his image at the time, a Magic, the Gathering deck archetype was named after him. 126. Record-breaking world champion, 2000 to 2002. The Rock as the WWF Champion in 2000. In the following weeks, The Rock continued his feud with Triple H and eventually won his fourth WWF Championship, which he won on April 30th, at Backlash, after Stone Cold Steve Austin intervened on his behalf. 127-128 The following night on Raw is War, The Rock successfully defended his title against Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. On May 21st, at Judgment Day, The Rock faced Triple H in an Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. 129 With the score tied at 5 falls each, and with seconds left on the time limit, The Rock was disqualified when The Undertaker attacked Triple H, thus giving Triple H the 6-5 win and the title. 129-130 The Rock won the WWF Championship for a fifth time at King of the Ring on June 25 by scoring the winning pin in a six-man tag team match, teaming with Kane and The Undertaker against Shane McMahon, Triple H, and Vince McMahon, whom he pinned. 131-132 The Rock successfully defended the championship against Chris Benoit on July 23 at Fully Loaded. The next month, he successfully defended his title against Kurt Angle and Triple H at SummerSlam on August 27. The Rock had another successful title defense against Benoit, Kane, and The Undertaker on September 24 at Unforgiven. 133. The Rock then lost the WWF Championship to Kurt Angle at No Mercy on October 22, 2000. 134 The next month, The Rock feuded with Ricochet and defeated him at Survivor Series on November 19. 135 The Rock wrestled a six-man Hell in a Cell match for the WWF Championship at Armageddon on December 10, which Angle won to retain the title. 136 On the December 18 episode of Raw is War, The Rock won the WWF Tag Team Championship with The Undertaker, defeating Edge and Christian, before losing the titles back to Edge and Christian the next night at a SmackDown taping. 137 The Rock continued to feud with Angle over the WWF Championship, culminating at No Way Out on February 25, 2001, where he pinned Angle to win the WWF Championship for a sixth time. 138-139 The Rock then feuded with the Royal Rumble winner, Stone Cold Steve Austin, whom he lost the title to at WrestleMania X7 on April 1 after Austin allied with Vince McMahon, who interfered on his behalf. 105 On the next night's Raw is War, during a steel cage title rematch, Triple H attacked The Rock, allying with McMahon and Austin and helping Austin retain the championship. 140 Austin and Triple H then formed a tag team called the Power Trip. 141 While The Rock was indefinitely suspended in storyline, Johnson used this time off to act in The Scorpion King. The Rock taunting Rob Van Dam at ringside at WWF Raw, October 2001. The Rock returned in late July when the WWF was feuding with rival promotions World Championship Wrestling, WCW, and Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, during what is known as the Invasion storyline. In reality, WCW was purchased by Vince McMahon and the WWF, and ECW had gone out of business in early 2001. Many former WCW and ECW wrestlers were then brought onto WWF television and formed the Alliance to compete with the WWF in storyline. The Alliance and Vince McMahon then both attempted to persuade The Rock to join their team. The Rock then aligned with McMahon and the WWF. The next month, The Rock defeated Booker T at SummerSlam on August 19 to win the WCW Championship for the first time. 142-143 He later lost the title to Chris Jericho at No Mercy on October 21. 144-145 The next night on Raw, he teamed with Jericho to win the WWF Tag Team Championship from the Dudley Boyz. The two then lost the tag titles to Booker T and Test on the November 1, 2001, episode of SmackDown. 146 The Rock defeated Jericho on the November 5 episode of Raw for his second WCW Championship. 147. As part of the WWF's battle against the Alliance, The Rock wrestled in a winner-takes-all 5-on-5 elimination tag team match at Survivor Series on November 18, where the losing team's company would be dissolved in storyline. He was a member of Team WWF along with Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show. The Alliance's team consisted of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and Shane McMahon. In the end, it came down to a one-on-one between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock seemed to have the upper hand, until his teammate Jericho entered the ring and attacked The Rock. Austin tried to capitalize on this by pinning The Rock, but Kurt Angle revealed his true allegiance by attacking Austin. The Rock then pinned Austin, giving Team WWF the victory and forcing the Alliance to disband. The Rock's WCW Championship was renamed the Unbranded World Championship following the Alliance's loss. 148 At the next pay-per-view, Vengeance on December 9, The Rock lost the World Championship to Jericho, who would then unify the WWF and World titles later that night. 149 The Rock then unsuccessfully challenged Jericho for the now undisputed WWF Championship at Royal Rumble on January 20, 2002. 150. The Rock doing his signature pose before wrestling Hulk Hogan, bottom right, at WrestleMania X8, March 2002. At the next pay-per-view, No Way Out on February 17, The Rock defeated The Undertaker in a singles match. The event also saw the WWF debut of the famed WCW faction New World Order, NWO, which at the time consisted of Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. 151 This later led to a match between The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania X8 on March 17. The match was billed as Icon vs. Icon, with both men representing the top tier of two generations of wrestling. Ultimately The Rock pinned Hogan at WrestleMania X8 to win the match. 152 Despite The Rock portraying a heroic character and Hogan a villain, a portion of the crowd attending the Skydome was rooting heavily for Hogan. 153 154 In an interview in 2013, Hogan said he and The Rock changed the style of the match on the fly based on the crowd's response. 155 After the introduction of the first ever brand extension, the WWF held a draft lottery on the March 25, 2002, episode of Raw. The Rock was the #1 overall pick, going to the SmackDown brand before taking a sabbatical from wrestling. 156. The Rock made a surprise return on a June episode of Raw before going to his assigned brand of SmackDown. There, he was named the #1 contender for the WWE Undisputed Championship, which he won for a record-setting 7th time at Vengeance on July 21, by defeating Kurt Angle and then champion The Undertaker in a triple threat match. 157 158 The Rock successfully defended the title at the Global Warning event on August 10 against Triple H and Brock Lesnar after pinning Triple H. 159 On August 25, at SummerSlam, The Rock lost the WWE Undisputed Championship to Lesnar along with the record for the youngest WWE champion, which he had set in 1998. 160 In 2018, writing for ESPN.com, Sean Coyle noted in a retrospective review of the event, that following his victory over Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania X8, The Rock started to see a dip in fan support and that dip turned into a plunge by the time The Rock had his match with Lesnar at SummerSlam because fans knew he was leaving WWE to pursue an acting career. 161 As evidenced by the negative crowd response during his match with Lesnar. 162 After SummerSlam ended, The Rock was visibly angry at the crowd reaction. When he tried to do a post-show speech for the crowd, the fans booed him. He eventually cut a short promo, declaring that sing-along with The Rock is over. 163. The Rock then took time off to kickstart his acting career. 164. Hollywood Rock, 2003. The Rock defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin, left, in Austin's final match at WrestleMania 19 in March 2003. The Rock returned on the January 30, 2003, episode of SmackDown to set up another match with Hulk Hogan at No Way Out on February 23, 165 because of negative fan reaction during previous matches as a result of his budding acting career. The Rock turned heel. He also started a new persona that has been called Hollywood Rock, with a new look and a shaved head. 166-167 The Rock defeated Hogan at No Way Out before moving to the Raw brand. 168 There, he had various small feuds, including one with the Hurricane. 169 He also began performing rock concerts, segments in which he played the guitar and mocked WWE performers and fans in song. 170 After failing to win a #1 contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship, The Rock went into another program with Stone Cold Steve Austin. This led to a match at WrestleMania 19 on March 30, which called back to their previous 2 WrestleMania encounters, both of which Austin had won. 171 The Rock won after delivering 3 consecutive rock bottoms, ending their long-running rivalry in what turned out to be Austin's final match, until WrestleMania 38. 172 The next night, Raw was billed as the Rock Appreciation Night, in honor of his victory over Austin. That night, he was attacked by a debuting Goldberg. 173 At Backlash on April 27, Goldberg defeated The Rock, who then briefly left WWE to film Walking Tall. 174 Final Feuds and Departure, 2003 to 2004. On the June 2 episode of Raw, The Rock joined the highlight reel and attacked Christian and Chris Jericho with Booker T, turning face once again. 175 He would later return on the December 8 episode of Raw to help Mick Foley against La Resistance. In 2004, The Rock aided Mick Foley in his feud against Evolution 2 won 176 leading to a reunion of The Rock and Sock Connection. They lost against Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Batista in a handicap match at WrestleMania XX on March 14, 2004, when Orton pinned Foley after an RKO. 177 This was Johnson's final wrestling match until November 2011. The Rock appeared in WWE sporadically following WrestleMania XX. He made returns to provide support for Eugene against Jonathan Coachman and made a cameo in his hometown of Miami, where he confronted Randy Orton. On the August 23 episode of Raw, he hosted a pie-eating contest, as part of the WWE Diva Search, and ended the segment by giving Coachman a people's elbow. The Rock's contract with WWE then ended and he started his full-time acting career. 178 Non-wrestling appearances, 2007 to 2009. On March 12, 2007, The Rock appeared on a WWE show after nearly 3 years, via a pre-taped promo shown during Raw. He correctly predicted that Bobby Lashley would defeat Umaga at WrestleMania 23 in Donald Trump's and Vince McMahon's Battle of the Billionaires hair versus hair match. 179 On March 29, 2008, Johnson inducted his father Rocky Johnson and grandfather Peter Maivia into the WWE Hall of Fame. 180 His next appearance was through a pre-taped promo on October 2, 2009, during the Decade of SmackDown. 181 Independent Circuit, 2009. On September 30, 2009, The Rock appeared at a World Extreme Wrestling, WXW, show to support the professional wrestling debut of Sirona Snuka, the daughter of his longtime friend and mentor Jimmy Snuka. 182 Return to WWE. Feud with John Cena, 2011 to 2013. The Rock in the ring as WrestleMania XXVII host, April 2011. On February 14, 2011, The Rock was announced as the host of WrestleMania XXVII on April 3, 2011, appearing live on Raw. During a lengthy promo, he addressed the fans and started a feud with John Cena. 183-184 After numerous appearances via satellite, The Rock appeared live on the Raw before WrestleMania XXVII to confront Cena. After he and Cena exchanged insults, The Miz and Alex Riley appeared and attacked The Rock. He fended off Miz and Riley, only for Cena to blindside him with an attitude adjustment. 185. The Rock and John Cena left on Raw, agreeing to a match at WrestleMania XXVII 1 year in advance. On April 3, at WrestleMania XXVII, The Rock opened the show by cutting a promo. After appearing in numerous backstage segments, The Rock came to ringside to restart the main event between Cena and The Miz as a no disqualification match, after it had ended in a double countout. As revenge for the attitude adjustment Cena had given him on Raw, The Rock hit Cena with the Rock Bottom, allowing The Miz to pin him and retain the WWE Championship. After the match, The Rock attacked The Miz and hit him with the People's Elbow. 186 The next night on Raw, The Rock and Cena agreed to a match at WrestleMania XXVII the next year. They then worked together to fend off an attack by the Core, which at the time consisted of Wade Barrett, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Ezekiel Jackson. 187. The Rock appeared live on Raw in his hometown of Miami to celebrate his 39th birthday. 188 On September 16, WWE announced The Rock would wrestle in a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series tag team match, teaming with Cena at Survivor Series in November. 189 But on the October 24 episode of Raw Super Show, Cena instead suggested The Rock be his partner in a standard tag team match against The Miz and R-Truth, a team called Awesome Truth. 190 which Rock agreed to the next week. 191 On November 14, during the special Raw Gets Rocked, The Rock appeared live, delivering rock bottoms to Mick Foley, who had been hosting a This Is Your Lifestyle segment for Cena, and later both members of Awesome Truth. 192 The Rock and Cena defeated Awesome Truth on November 20 at Survivor Series, when The Rock pinned The Miz. After the match, The Rock gave Cena a rock bottom. 193. The Rock celebrating his victory at WrestleMania XXVII, April 2012. Leading up to WrestleMania, The Rock and Cena had several verbal confrontations on Raw Super Show. 194-195 On the March 12, 2012, episode of Raw Super Show, The Rock hosted his first rock concert segment since 2004, mocking Cena in his songs. 196 On April 1, at WrestleMania XXVII, The Rock defeated Cena in the main event after countering Cena's attempt at a People's Elbow into a rock bottom and pinning Cena. 197 This event broke the record for biggest professional wrestling pay-per-view parade. The following night on Raw Super Show, The Rock praised Cena, calling their match an honor. He then vowed to once again become WWE Champion. 196. On July 23, at Raw 1000, The Rock announced he would wrestle for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. During the show, he encountered then reigning WWE Champion CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena, all of whom expressed a desire to face him. The Rock later saved Cena from an assault by Big Show, only to be laid out by CM Punk. 198 On the January 7, 2013, episode of Raw, The Rock returned to confront his Royal Rumble opponent CM Punk. 199 On January 11, he made his first SmackDown appearance in 10 years, getting into an altercation with Team Rhodes Scholars, resulting in him delivering a rock bottom to Damian Sandow and a People's Elbow to Cody Rhodes. 200 The Rock closed out the 20th anniversary episode of Raw, on January 14, with one of his rock concerts, leading to a brawl with CM Punk. 201 The following week on Raw, The Rock was attacked by The Shield. Vince McMahon then asserted that if The Shield attacked The Rock in his title match with CM Punk, Punk would be stripped of the WWE Championship. 202. The Rock revealing the brand new WWE Championship design on WWE Raw, February 2013. On January 27, at the Royal Rumble, CM Punk would seemingly defeat The Rock after the arena lights went out and someone attacked The Rock. Vince McMahon then came out and was about to strip Punk of the championship. However, at The Rock's request, he instead restarted the match. This culminated in The Rock defeating Punk to win his 8th WWE Championship. 203 Punk received a title rematch with The Rock, at Elimination Chamber on February 17, 2013, with the added stipulation that if The Rock was disqualified or counted out, he would still lose the WWE Championship. The Rock would pin Punk to defeat him and retain the championship. 204 The following night on Raw, The Rock unveiled a new WWE Championship design, with a different center plate and removable customizable side plates which had his Brahma Bull logo. 205 The Rock then resumed his rivalry with John Cena, who won that year's Royal Rumble to set up a rematch of the previous WrestleMania match between the two at WrestleMania 29, only this time with the WWE Championship on the line. 206-207. On April 7, at WrestleMania 29, The Rock lost the WWE Championship to Cena, ending his reign at 70 days. 208 Despite being advertised for Raw after WrestleMania, where it was stated that The Rock was still entitled a rematch for the WWE Championship. 209 The Rock did not appear because of a real injury sustained during his match with Cena, in which his abdominal and adductor tendons tore from his pelvis. 210 Johnson underwent surgery on April 23 to reattach the torn tendons. 211 Post-surgery, it made his abdomen look far less muscular than the rest of his body, notably his arms. 212. Part-time appearances, 2014 to 2023. The Rock, right, confronts Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania XXX, April 2014. In April 2014, The Rock appeared in the opening segment of WrestleMania XXX along with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan. 213 On the October 6 episode of Raw, The Rock made a surprise appearance to confront Rusev and Lana. This resulted in The Rock clearing Rusev from the ring. On the 15th anniversary of SmackDown on October 10, The Rock would make an appearance in a backstage segment, where he and Triple H would reminisce on their past feud. 214. The Rock appeared at the 2015 Royal Rumble event on January 25, 2015, during the main event match, where he helped his relative Roman Reigns fend off Big Show and Kane after Reigns eliminated them from the match. Reigns then won the match and The Rock endorsed him in the ring. 215 216 217 The Rock appeared at WrestleMania 31 on March 29, 2015, alongside Ronda Rousey, getting into an in-ring altercation with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Rock and Rousey prevailed after he attacked Triple H and she overpowered McMahon. 218 On June 27, The Rock appeared at a live event in Boston, where he confronted Bo Dallas and gave him a rock bottom. 219. The Wyatt family confronting The Rock at WrestleMania 32, April 2016. On the January 25, 2016, episode of Raw, The Rock was in a segment that saw him converse with The Miz, Big Show, Lana, and Rusev before he and his relatives, the Usos, got into an altercation with then WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day. 220 The Rock appeared at WrestleMania 32 on April 3, 2016, where he announced that WWE had broken the all-time WrestleMania attendance record before being interrupted by the Wyatt family. The Rock got into a verbal back and forth with Bray Wyatt before having an impromptu match with Wyatt family member Eric Rowan. The Rock won after giving Rowan a rock bottom and pinning him in 6 seconds, which set the record for the fastest win in WrestleMania history. The Rock was then aided by a returning John Cena to fend off Wyatt, Rowan, and Braun Strowman. 221. On the February 20, 2017, episode of Raw, The Rock made an untelevised appearance after the broadcast had gone off the air, where he promoted and filmed a scene for his then upcoming film Fighting with My Family. 222 On August 3, 2019, The Rock officially announced his retirement from professional wrestling. 223 On September 30, 2019, after weeks of speculation, The Rock announced that he would appear on SmackDown's 20th anniversary on October 4, 2019, marking his first appearance on SmackDown since October 2014 and his first televised appearance since April 2016. 224 At the event, he cut a promo with Becky Lynch before they were interrupted by King Corbin. After attacking Corbin, The Rock and Lynch celebrated in the ring. 225 On September 15, 2023, The Rock made a surprise return to SmackDown, in a segment with Pat McAfee and Austin Theory, who Rock took out within the segment. This marked his first televised appearance in WWE since October 4, 2019. 226 The Final Boss, 2024, present. See also, The Bloodline. The Rock and Roman Reigns face-to-face with Cody Rhodes and Seth freakin' Rollins at WrestleMania XL. It was teased that a former WWE champion would be appearing on the Day 1 edition of Raw on January 1, 2024. The unidentified champion was at first revealed to be Jinder Mahal, who insulted the crowd before being interrupted by The Rock in his first live appearance on Raw since 2016. 227 The two brawled and The Rock emerged victorious, after which he asked the crowd if he should sit at the head of the table in a direct reference to undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his relative whose nickname is the head of the table. 228 229 The Rock also appeared on the February 2nd episode of SmackDown, where he confronted Reigns after Royal Rumble winner Cody Rhodes decided against choosing Reigns as his WrestleMania 40 opponent to allow The Rock to face Reigns. 230 This was met by intense backlash from fans who wanted Rhodes to face Reigns. The WrestleMania XL media event on February 8 thus saw The Rock align himself with Reigns, chastise Rhodes for reversing his decision not to choose Reigns as his WrestleMania opponent, and slap Rhodes for speaking out against the Anoa'i family, of which The Rock and Reigns are both members. 231 232 As WWE's chief creative officer Triple H was being interviewed backstage over what had just transpired, The Rock and Reigns walked by and told him to fix it or they would, though Triple H would later appear on SmackDown to stand by Rhodes' decision. 232 The Rock with the People's Championship at the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. On the February 16th episode of SmackDown, The Rock officially joined Reigns' faction The Bloodline. He also debuted a new persona that incorporated facets of his arrogant Hollywood rock incarnation from 2003, such as insulting the audience, wearing gaudy expensive clothes, and entering the arena to a new entrance theme that began with his heroic character's music before transitioning into his Hollywood rock music. 233 He then appeared on the March 1st episode of SmackDown, where he gave his new character the nickname of the Final Boss and issued a challenge to Rhodes and Seth freakin' Rollins. If they beat him and Reigns in a tag team match at WrestleMania Night 1, Rhodes' championship match against Reigns on Night 2 would be free of interference from the Bloodline, but if Rhodes and Rollins lost, the championship match would be contested under Bloodline rules. Rhodes and Rollins accepted the challenge the following week. On the March 25th episode of Raw, The Rock attacked Rhodes backstage, leaving him beaten and bloody in the parking lot. 234 During the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame, The Rock received a People's Championship from Muhammad Ali's wife Lani, which he would begin carrying over his shoulder whenever he appeared on screen. 235 In the Night 1 main event of WrestleMania XL, The Rock and Reigns defeated Rhodes and Rollins. 236 During the Night 2 main event between Reigns and Rhodes, multiple people interfered on behalf of both men. The Rock appeared and hit John Cena with the rock bottom after the two stared each other down, but The Undertaker then appeared and chokeslammed The Rock. Rhodes went on to defeat Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship. 237 The following night on Raw, The Rock interrupted Rhodes' celebration to congratulate him and reveal that he would be leaving for a while, but would be coming after Rhodes when he returns. This allowed Johnson time off to film the biopic The Smashing Machine. 238-239 During his hiatus, Solo Sikoa became the new leader of the Bloodline, starting the Bloodline Civil War. 240-241 6 months later, in the main event of Bad Blood on October 5, Rhodes and Reigns teamed up to face members of the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, from which Reigns had been ousted, defeating Sikoa and Fatu with the help of a returning Jimmy Uso. Following the match, The Rock returned and stood at the top of the entrance ramp, where he silently counted to 3 and made a throat-slashing gesture to Reigns, Rhodes, and Uso before leaving. 242 The Rock returned on the Raw premiere on Netflix on January 6, 2025, thanking Rhodes for all his work as the face of the company and hugging him. Later that night, The Rock embraced Reigns after the latter defeated Sikoa to reclaim his Ula Fala and Tribal Chief title. 243 The next night at New Year's Evil, The Rock made his first appearance on the NXT brand. 244-245 He sought advice from his daughter, NXT General Manager Ava, and spoke to Ethan Page. In a promo that closed out the television special, he addressed criticism towards his actions the night before on Raw. 246-247 On the February 21st episode of SmackDown, The Rock made an appearance to announce that WrestleMania 42 would take place in New Orleans, Louisiana, where SmackDown was being taped. The Rock also called out Cody Rhodes, where he offered to elevate Rhodes as a star in exchange for Rhodes' loyalty and cryptically stated that he wanted Rhodes' soul. 248 On March 1 at Elimination Chamber, Toronto, Rhodes refused The Rock's offer, who responded by signaling Elimination Chamber match winner John Cena to attack Rhodes, leaving him beaten and bloodied in the assault. 249 Mainstream crossover. The Rock in a 2001 Vanity Fair photo shoot. The Rock appeared on Wyclef Jean's 2000 single It Doesn't Matter and in its music video. 250-251 He also recorded Pie with Slick Rick for WWF The Music, Volume 5. 252 In 1999, Johnson appeared on That 70s Show as his father Rocky Johnson. The next year, he was on Star Trek, Voyager as an alien wrestler who used The Rock's moves. 253 In 2000, he hosted Saturday Night Live, SNL, for the first time. 254 Fellow wrestlers Triple H, Big Show, and Mick Foley also appeared on the show. 255 Johnson has said the success of that episode is the reason he began receiving offers from Hollywood studios. 256 He has since hosted SNL 4 more times. In 1999, The Rock was listed number 1 on Entertainment Weekly's Top 12 Entertainers of the Year. 257 In 2000, Access Hollywood ranked him number 1 in their list of the top 10 celebrities of 2000. 258 That year, Rock was also listed in the Forbes Celebrity 100 and People magazine's 25 Most Intriguing People. 259-260 The Rock was listed on Entertainment Weekly's 101 Most Influential People in both 2000 and 2001. 261 In 2001, he was also listed on E!'s 20 Top Entertainers. 262-263 In 2002, The Rock was listed on E!'s 25 Toughest Stars. 264 In 2003, he was listed in VH1's 200 Greatest Pop Culture Icons 265 and was number 7 in People magazine's 50 Favorite TV Stars. 266. The Rock made a surprise appearance at the official Xbox unveiling during Bill Gates's keynote speech at the ongoing Consumer Electronics Show in 2001. 267 Johnson's motion picture debut was as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns, 2001. 268 The movie broke a two-year record for the highest grossing single day in film history by earning $28,594,667. 269 to 254 The movie's financial success led to Johnson's first leading role in the spin-off The Scorpion King, 2002. 2. He received $5.5 million for the role, and Guinness World Records named him the record holder for highest paid actor in their first leading role. 271. The Rock has appeared on the covers of many magazines, including Rolling Stone, Entertainment Weekly, and TV Guide. 272 273 274 He has also appeared in, and been the cover athlete for, several video games. 275 As of October 2024, his Instagram account is the sixth most followed in the world, with over 395 million followers. 276. Legacy in professional wrestling. Fans watching on as The Rock makes his entrance in 2013. The Rock has been listed as one of the all-time greatest professional wrestlers 22/6/7 as well as one of the top draws in wrestling history. Many have placed The Rock on their Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, including Hulk Hogan 277, Ric Flair 278 and John Cena 279. In Cablevision's Television Beyond Broadcasting, The Rock was described as, for a long time, the WWE's biggest star and probably held the greatest international appeal. 280. R.D. Reynolds stated in his book The Wrestle Crap Book of Lists that The Rock was the biggest star for WWE from 1999 until 2004. 281. The Rock's I Quit match with Mankind at the 1999 Royal Rumble event is infamous for its brutality and one of the most popular I Quit match of all times. 282 283 284 285. The Rock main event, the most bought pay-per-view worldwide in WWE history, WrestleMania XXVIII, 286. The most bought pay-per-view domestically in WWE history, WrestleMania X7, the highest rated Raw in history 287 288. The highest rated SmackDown in history 289 and was part of the highest rated cable segment in WWE history with Mankind entitled This Is Your Life, in which Mankind would honor The Rock with various gifts and reunions. 290 291. His return in 2001 had a 7.1 rating, the highest rated segment of the year. The Rock was also part of the highest rated match of the 21st century when his WWF Championship defense against Shane McMahon, on May 1, 2000, got an 8.3 rating, making it the highest rated segment of all time, behind This Is Your Life. In 2011, The Rock's return to an episode of Raw generated an average of 4.7 million viewers in the United States, with 7.4 million tuning in during his promo. 292. Raw 1000 was the highest rated Raw episode of 2012 and his segment with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan was the highest rated segment of the show. 293. In 2013, the night after The Rock won the WWE Championship, at Royal Rumble, Raw got its highest rating of that year. 294. Derived from one of his catchphrases, "Lay the Smackdown," WWE introduced in 1999 its second flagship program, WWE SmackDown, which became television's second longest running weekly episodic program in history. 295. The term SmackDown was included in Merriam-Webster dictionaries in 2007. 296 297. He is also known for popularizing the term jabroni, derived from jabber, although it was originally introduced by the Iron Sheik. 298 299. The Rock holds the record for most Raw shows main event in 1 year, 38 in 2000, 300 most SmackDown shows main event in 1 year, 36 in 2000, 301 and is tied with Stone Cold Steve Austin, in 2001, for most PPV shows main event in 1 year, 12 in 2000. 302 303 The Rock is also one of 2 wrestlers, the other being The Undertaker, to main event WrestleMania in 4 different decades, 1990s, 15, 1999, 2000s, WrestleMania 2000, 2000, X7, 2001, 2010s, XXVIII, 2012, 29, 2013, 2020s, XL, 2024. At the 2021 Survivor Series, WWE held a 25-man battle royal to celebrate the 25th anniversary of The Rock's WWE debut. The match was won by Omos. 304. Acting career. See also, Dwayne Johnson filmography. Johnson in April 2009. Johnson entered Hollywood and had early success due to his wrestling popularity and noted work ethic. Over his acting career, he became one of the highest paid and most successful actors in Hollywood. 305 306 307 308. Career beginnings, 1999 to 2010. He began his acting career on television while wrestling. In his first television acting job, in 1999, he portrayed his father Rocky Johnson in an episode of that 70s show called That Wrestling Show. Nearly a year later, he appeared in the Star Trek, Voyager episode Tsunkatsu as an alien wrestler who fought against 7 of 9. While Johnson was away from WWE, the company continued to sell The Rock merchandise, and he continued to be featured prominently in the opening montages of their television shows. 39. Johnson made his theatrical debut in The Mummy Returns, 2001, playing the antagonist Matthäus the Scorpion King. He reprised this role in the spin-off film The Scorpion King, 2002, where he starred as the titular character. Johnson was paid $5.5 million for his leading role, putting him in the Guinness World Records for the highest salary for a first-time leading man. 309 The film was a commercial success and despite mixed reception, Johnson's acting was praised. 310 Film critic Roger Ebert wrote, "I expect him to become a durable action star." 311. In the following years, he worked in action films The Rundown, 2003, and Walking Tall, 2004, but these films failed to gain success. He had a supporting role in the comedy Be Cool, 2005, as a homosexual bodyguard hoping to become an actor. 312 and was the primary antagonist in the horror film Doom, 2005. He also worked in the sports drama Gridiron Gang, 2006, comedy Reno 9/11, Miami, 2007, and thriller Southland Tales, 2006. He had further success by playing an arrogant famous American football player in the sports family comedy The Game Plan, 2007, Agent 23 in spy action comedy Get Smart, 2008, a cab driver in the science fiction film Race to Witch Mountain, 2009, the title character in the fantasy comedy Tooth Fairy, 2010, and a police officer in buddy cop comedy The Other Guys, 2010. Johnson returned to action genre in the unsuccessful Faster, 2010. Johnson made his voice acting debut in the 2006 video game Spy Hunter, Nowhere to Run, originally intended as a tie-in for an unproduced film. 313 He also voiced NASA astronaut Chuck in the 2009 animated sci-fi comedy Planet 51. 314 He presented the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects at the 80th Academy Awards. 315. Commercial success, 2011 to 2020. Johnson's first big box office success came in 2011, portraying Luke Hobbs in Fast 5, 2011. The film became the 7th highest grossing film of 2011. Following this, All of Johnson's projects in the 2010s decade achieved major success and established him as a bankable actor. 317. He next starred in the box office hit Journey to The Mysterious Island in 2012. He became known for reinvigorating film franchises after portraying Marvin F. Hinton/Roadblock in G.I. Joe, Retaliation, and reprising his role as Luke Hobbs in Fast and Furious 6, 2013, 319, while also starring in True Story films Pain and Gain, 2013, and Empire State, 2013. That same year, he hosted and produced the TNT reality competition series The Hero 321 and won the Favorite Male Butt Kicker Award at the 2013 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. 322. In May 2013,